Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Okay, it's clear. White people like me. And how I let y'all convince me to go camping in the woods with y'all, I will never know. But you know what? I've learned 5 things. And here they go. Number 1, y'all drink beer like beer's water. I was under the impression that we going camping, so we gonna live by the water, we gonna die by the water. We see it in the lake, we drink it, we put it in a canteen, we set it on fire. I don't know, it purifies something. But no, the people that I was with brought more beer than there was air. You had Budweiser, you had Bud Light, you had Miller Lite, you had beer that's like not even off-brand. Like it was so off-brand that all it said was beer on the can. Now I thought you was gonna drink beer and get drunk and not be able to do nothing. Nah, y'all started building teepees out of one rock, a pile of leaves, a stick, and a bird that go, caw-caw, caw-caw. Number 1, you going camping with white people and you don't drink beer, you probably don't wanna go camping. Number 2, you going camping, you think it's romantic. You think you finna go out there and get laid in one of them tents. Wrong. No. Now, being that I was out there by myself, I was able to observe some stuff. And Chuck did not get lucky in a tent. It wasn't romantic for her at all. If they have like a Bentley of tents, they gonna sleep in that Bentley and ain't no oochie coochie down by the river going down in that tent at all. If you going camping, you probably wanna make it an all guys trip. Now, I'm not saying there's some Brokeback Mountain type stuff going on in them tents over there. All I'm saying is don't bring your lady on this camping trip and think, you know what? We finna be under the stars, the world, and the air finna get in our lungs, and if it is set the mood for us. Now, that's number 2. The moonlight does not set the mood right, I promise. Number 3, rope can be used to ward off snakes. I'm dead serious. Now, I was out there camping with my homeboy, Bryan, this dude. Now, I've known Bryan for about 10, 11 years now, and Bryan pulled out some rope. Now, in my head, I was like, listen, black people in woods with rope, not gonna happen. Let me pack my stuff up, let me go home, because this is the end of our friendship. I see what it is now. The rope is used to go around your body, so in case you gotta sleep on the ground, because some of us can't think with our heads, some of us can't build like a hammock thing, and they put the rope around you. You know why? To ward off snakes. So if a snake coming, the snake gonna think that's another snake, or that rope will bump and wake you up in the morning. So if you ain't never been camping, I just gave you a gift. So that's number 3, black people. When y'all go in the woods with your homeboys and they pull out rope, don't let your mind go back to history that fast. Wait, give it a chance, because that might be the Operation Save a Snake. Completely understand. That's number 3. Number 4, the kind of stories and jokes white folks tell be stories that make you go, I don't care who you are, I don't care how you was raised, I don't care what you think. The dirtiest jokes in the world, the nastiest stories, all that was invented at a campfire. Dude gonna ask me, hey Josh, you went to that barbecue? I said, what barbecue? The one where I put my meat on your grill. I'm 33 years old and I still fell for that. And for 4 days, I was like borderline offended. I kind of want to go to his door, knock on the door, and fight him right now for getting me. It was funny, but it wasn't right. Number 5, being a mountain man ain't real, man. Me, I was out there prepared. I had my little knife. I was ready to stab something. I was gonna stab Bambi. I was gonna stab whoever I had to do. I was gonna kill a bear, wear his fur, and survive the whole weekend while I was out there. I'm out there in the water looking for fish, trying to stab it with a stick, because I think this is how we get down. I look back on shore, where shore I mean the land. I look back and they roasting hot dogs, putting ketchup and mustard on them and stuff. I'm out there trying to count the stars and learn constellations and stuff. I look back, I hear football games on, Tom Brady throwing touchdown passes. I thought we was out here camping. No, they out there glamping. I'm out there with wood, ready to rub 2 rocks together and start a fire on my own. They looking at me like, bro, this ain't the book of Eli. You not Denzel Washington, you black like him, but you not Denzel. Electricity and portable chargers was invented, Josh. How we gonna post this on Facebook if we don't got no electricity, Josh?
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, good morning. What the heck's going on, Betty? She's 20 minutes late, and she gives us. I tell you, I was on TikTok, and I go through there, just look and see what's going on, right? And so there's just some things that I come across on TikTok that I laugh so hard I almost pee. I am not lying. And when I heard this, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to download it. This is freaking hilarious. This is so hilarious. And that guy is hilarious. There's a few of them on there that I really, really like. As you guys can see, there's several of them that I constantly put up. But I'm always trying to find something funny. And I figured we had a few minutes. I wasn't going to start until like 7 anyways. So I figured I'd start. I was waiting for coffee this morning. And it's always about the coffee. Guys, listen. A mess. I mean, literally a mess of documents. Well over 100 pages. I mean, I've got it right here. Like, showing receipts. Like, this is a lot of freaking paperwork. I went through it. I put binder clips on it. I got it sectioned off. I'm going through all this stuff because tomorrow is the big day, right? Tomorrow we're going to find our fate. We're going to find out whether the non-dissemination order is going to be modified. We're going to find out if the non-dissemination order is going to be vacated. We're going to find out if cameras are allowed in the courtroom. Like tomorrow is a huge, huge day in the case of Bryan Kohberger. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean everything that happens tomorrow is going to be set in stone. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but we're going to discuss it. And we're going to discuss some of these documents. I don't, there's some documents we're going to gloss over because I want to go through all of them with you. But there's a couple that are pretty stinking large. I don't think it's necessary that we go through every single page of it. But we definitely want to touch on everything in it. And we'll move from there. But there was somebody, I was on here yesterday. A lot of these documents did not load until much, much later. And if you guys remember the email that, or that tweet that I showed you of a person that had, now mind you, I still have, this is one of the first. And things happen in different communities and different counties that you've never seen before, which this is one of them putting an actual exhibit inside the pleading. And they did that in one of these, I think it's, hold on. In one of these documents, which I've just never seen. To me, it's just not proper. This should have been exhibited, and it was not. And it was actually placed in as a part of their fact statement. Either way, it was on the docket yesterday afternoon, but yesterday morning when we were looking for it, it was not. We went through the docket several times, and I went back and looked at the video to make, oops, sorry, it's not going to, I guess I got to put it next to my body, but there it is. I can't figure out how to do it. It's the more I go up, the more it's going to keep doing. But I did find it, and it wasn't on the docket yesterday, which makes me wonder, how did that girl have a copy of it on her Twitter page? But again, I think it might have also been because I need to open a new, I guess refreshing the page once it's open is not good. I've got to have a new tab and go in there. That could have also been a problem where yesterday when we were discussing this, it just wasn't refreshed. So either way, I did see it. I've just never seen that. There's a lot of stuff that I haven't seen, that I see because I studied in, Florida. I've worked in Florida. I haven't really seen how other states or communities have done their legal work up until recently. I've had to learn a lot of law in other states and things just to run this channel, which we're learning about. And even the paperwork that came out yesterday, I've even went through here and highlighted the law so I can figure out what we need to review. We're not going to review the law today, but we are going to break this down. All I'm really doing today is just going over, some of the information that's on the docket. That's all we're going to be pretty much doing today. So good morning, Sonia. It's nice to see you. GG for life. Cool Gamer is in the house. Sheila, L, it's nice to see you. Stacy, Audrey, good morning. Patty G. I can't even pronounce this. Tong? I'm sorry. Shalema? Am I saying it right? Shalema? Anyways, if I'm saying it right, hopefully I am. Good morning. It's nice to see you here. Midnight Nurse Carla, it's nice to see you as well. Kathy S. Lulu's Nan, nice to see you. It's 10 is in the house. Miss Potty Mouth, it's good to see you. Good morning, Dumplin. Robert's girl, it's nice to see you. Christine, coffee is my curse word. It's mine too. I gotta have my coffee. Listen, I'm supposed to be having another roofer, since there is a delay in my roof and I have some additional time to, get some more estimates. I've got a roofer coming by today to give me an estimate, and they should be here anywhere between 8 and 10. So if you hear the doorbell ring and I have to leave, that's the reason. I'm dealing with another roofer. I still have everything ready to go with my roofer, but I've been waiting for months and I'm being delayed even more. So, I want to see if somebody else is out there that can get my roof done, around the same cost or cheaper. I'd like cheaper. Lord, roofs are expensive these days. Everything is. I went to Walmart yesterday and got a few groceries. Like I got a few microwave, type meals, like the pulled pork, like the Jack Daniel's pulled pork, it's in the freezer aisle, whatever. Anyways, so I got a lot of stuff, not really a whole lot though. I mean, it didn't even fill up a whole cart. I remember when 10 years ago, just 10 short years ago, and probably less than that. Let's say 5 years ago. I remember $200 filled up my entire cart. Like I was pimping when I walked out with $200 worth of groceries. It's like the cart was overfilled. Like I spent $200 yesterday and barely even filled the bottom of my cart. Like you could still see the grate at the bottom of my cart. And that was groceries. And I bought peaches, just some food, lunch meat. Good Lord, lunch meat's getting about as expensive as a freaking steak. A Cuban bread so I can make some like panini type things, $200. I digress. I'm going on a tangent, but either way, it's just, wow. It's just, wow. That's all I got to say. Tenzi, it's nice to see you. I went by and visited guidance this morning. I happened to wake up around midnight and I saw guidance live. I never get to see guidance live, ever. Like I never see guidance live. And I just happened to roll across her. Toshi, it's nice to see you. Or Tashi, I don't know if it's Toshi or Tashi, but probably Tashi. Nice to see you. Lori Lowe, it's nice to see you as well. Karen Davis. Anybody else in the house that I had not had an opportunity? Mike, I see you. Linda Lou, good morning. Anybody else that I have missed along the way, please don't, don't be offended. I see you. I'm sure I'll see you as you start talking, and we'll see how well it is, or how well we do. Anyways, it's nice to see you guys. Miss Stacy, good morning to you as well. So anyways, this is the state's supplemental response for the defendant's motion for grand jury records and transcripts. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. There's a lot of a law that needs to be broke down. Like they got the ICR 6.2. They have 6.2C, which is a subsection of that. So there's a lot of stuff that I just want to review. And they have a little bit of case law in here that I'd like to read myself. So I'm not going to really go over this, but it sounds like there is a fight. Like the state's not complaining too much. They're just basically saying that the defense is requesting documents from the grand jury that they're not entitled to under the law. That's basically their argument. There's not a whole lot of other stuff in here other than that. They're saying that they tried to make a stipulation. They're not coming to an agreement on what they can have. And they being the defense for Bryan Kohberger. They have a memorandum of camera on camera during hearings, and it goes through this document. I did read it, and I read it thoroughly. And it's basically, they're saying by having the cameras in the courtroom, even though it hasn't happened yet, there is a possibility of it being distracting for the jury, making the jury feel uncomfortable, taking away from their ability to concentrate on what is going on. They further said it's possible that the judge could be distracted by the camera, yada, yada, yada. There's a lot of coulda, woulda, shouldas, out there, enough to fill a stadium when it comes to cameras in a courtroom. However, what I can state is that cameras have been successful in courtrooms for a very long time. So much so, there are some main TV shows that are designed for nothing more than being inside the courtroom, i.e. court TV, right? Court TV has built its reputation on bringing live trials to television. So all these other people out there in this world, in this country, apparently can have a fair trial in the public, in the light, and broadcast it on TV. But for whatever reason, when we deal with Idaho must be the only state that can't walk and chew gum at the same time. So like, and not only that, but what really just burns my grits with this stuff, they're referring to, as part of their legal argument, the Lori Vallow Daybell case. So them not having the cameras in the courtroom, which, you know, I disagreed with that. I have a funny feeling this is going to continue and going to continue and going to continue until it goes up to the U.S. Supreme Court about, you know, cameras in the courtroom, being able to watch a public trial online, by phone. You know, the bottom line is yeah, the mere requirement of a public trial, which really, really, again, burns my grits, that they're talking about, well, it's open to the public, so they can come if they choose to. But that's the only requirement we're responsible to have. That's not in the spirit of the law, dude. Like, that is, like, seriously not in the spirit of the law. The spirit of the law is that it's a public trial and open to the public. Come one, come all. That's the whole purpose of a public trial. It's not about just meeting the minimum definition. The minimum? Oh, we only have to have it open to the public. We don't have to do this, do that. That's not the point. The point is, every single one of you guys are paid by taxpayers. Every last person up there. All these people, we're paying for this. Every last one of us is paying for this, right? We want a public trial. I'm in Florida. Don't tell me that my taxpayer money ain't paying for something out there. I recall federal funds being flooded into the community. So, you know, anyways, so I'm going through this, and they're like talking about how, you know, we're talking about every move he makes. Like, dude, I don't know if these attorneys realize that there is the First Amendment and there's the Sixth Amendment, okay? One doesn't supersede the other here. You've got to have a balance. And this is so tipped and so balanced toward the Sixth Amendment that they're literally hindering the First Amendment. It literally made me sick reading some of this stuff, talking about how they want to control the narrative. And mind you, people, before I get too far into this, mind you, everything that they're putting in these pleadings happened under the current non-dissemination order. Right? So the stuff that they are using to try to prevent this stuff is actually what's causing this stuff, believe it or not. So everything that they're complaining about that's going to happen if this non-dissemination order is lifted is untrue, because this stuff happened while the non-dissemination order was in place. So maybe if you allowed the public and the news to acquire accurate factual information, then we probably wouldn't even have this stuff to be in these pleadings or exhibited to begin with. Mind blown. Mind blown. So this is the way I'm looking at it. Like, I'm looking at it like, are you guys idiots over here? You know, I hate being, if you guys haven't noticed, if you can't handle the heat, stay out of the kitchen. And I'm going to tell you, I can be very abrasive, I can be very opinionated, and that is the crux of this show. So if you offend easily, this is probably not the place for you. There's many other channels out there that cover true crime and actually are covering this case. So if you're offended easy, again, probably not the best place for you to be. So I'm going through all of this stuff. And again, the first thing when I'm reading all this stuff and them trying to argue while cameras should not be in the courtroom. Here's an example of it. When cameras are present in the courtroom, the defendant becomes the subject to minute scrutiny of his or her every movement that can be replayed and analyzed. Yes, that's what curious people do. I didn't know if they knew that or not. In the present case, Mr. Kohberger's actions are heavily scrutinized by self-proclaimed experts utilizing audio and visual footage from the courtroom proceedings to make assumptions regarding his body language. Yes, we do that too. I'm sorry. I gotta get a little animated when doing this because it truly feels like children fighting. I mean, this truly feels like children fighting when I'm going through all this and reading this. And they're talking about the pseudoscience of body language. Look, I believe there's a body language craft. I absolutely believe it. I've absolutely experienced it in my own life. I've absolutely listened to a lot of people that have a keen sense for this types of stuff. And I absolutely 100% believe in involuntary movement that people can't explain because it comes to the brain. Absolutely believe that there is something with it, and granted, because we don't have a lot of science and a lot of tests that can prove it, right? It can't be true according to our government. Hey, whatever, to each their own. If it's not admissible, it's not admissible. Either way, I still think, just like the tool that's utilized for many criminals called the polygraph test, which is also not admissible in a court of law, still helps guide us and gauge us into finding out more about information and about suspects and about people of interest and, witnesses and people that are innocent, quite frankly. I believe that it is a craft. It is a craft. And I believe people are tuned to involuntary body movements, especially in relation to, being happy, sad, whether you're lying, stressed. I do believe that the body gives off certain things that, movements, if you will, that you're not conscious of. I absolutely believe it. So, yeah, I agree, pseudoscience in part, but I still believe that there's still something there. There's substance there with the whole body language, and we see it ourselves. We can watch something and our gut feeling can tell us whether they're being deceptive, just, not by listening to what's coming out of their mouth, but how they're saying it and how their body's acting. We've all experienced that. And so, yeah, in part, pseudoscience, there's nothing really that can gauge whether the accuracy or, the truth or the factual makeup of body language. So, pseudoscience would probably be a perfect word for it. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have some type of benefit. It's just not, it's like a polygraph, not admissible in a court of law. And, but it's still a great and useful tool, a great and useful tool. So, going through this whole camera thing, I really don't like it. Right? I'm partial when it comes to cameras, right? I'm partial when it comes to cameras. The good news is I'm not too worried about it. And here's why. Because we're going to be out there during the trial. For us, for our channel, we're not going to really have to worry about it at all. We'll get out there. We're going to capture what we can. But I will definitely, without a doubt, be there for the trial. If the trial lasts 6 weeks, we're going to be there 6 weeks. It's going to be a heavy cost. It's going to be a heavy undertaking, but it is what it is. You know, we're going to be there, rain or shine, you know, broke as a joke or rich as a king, right? It doesn't matter. We're going to be there one way or another. I'm going to be in Idaho for the trial, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So it doesn't, for our channel, it really doesn't matter whether or not this stuff is, you know, done on, done live or not. We're, you know, whether they allow the cameras in the courtroom or not. So that's where it's going to be. You know, I'm not too worried about it for here, but still, I still think that a public trial, and I have to think in the lens of right and wrong, not what is beneficial to me or not, because this is not going to be beneficial to me, right? Because I'm going to be there. So having all this, I don't know. Well, here. And yes, I do. He does clench his jaw, but I do think that is a more of a nervous twitch more than anything, because I remember I used to do that. I just rock my teeth back and forth, you know, clenching, and I don't know, but you know, it could very well be. It may be, it may not. I'm not sure. So, but it goes on in here, and it's like, you know, despite the apparent popularity of articles and videos claiming to explain body language, many such claims are not supported by scientific evidence. We just discussed that. So they're putting a lot of emphasis on us being critical of Bryan Kohberger. Whether or not this non-dissemination order is in place, whether or not the cameras are in place, it's not going to stop the people from talking about it, nor can the courts force us to stop talking about it. That is the epitome of the First Amendment right. The freedom of press is just that. That means they can't be obstructed by, they can't be forced what to write. And you're gonna understand what I mean by that. You're gonna understand what I mean by that when we get on into a few other of these pleadings. But they're almost, you know, they're almost condemning the state, and the defense acts like we, the public, aren't allowed to have an opinion, aren't allowed to discuss, that we must and shall only report what they tell us to report. And if they can't tell us what to report, they need to shut us down completely. Non-dissemination order. That is basically what they're saying in these pleadings. I'm not lying. And we're going to go over it because it really upsets me that they act like this. Like they act, that these attorneys, this attorney for the defense, primarily, this Jay Logsdon guy, acts like we're not allowed to formulate an opinion. We're not allowed to have factual information to formulate that opinion, that we are only allowed to have the affidavit of probable cause, and we should and shall only stick to the facts on that probable cause affidavit. I could have saved you guys an hour of reading. That's basically what it said. It's basically what it said. Motion for order permitting Zoom participation at the hearing. This is another attempt for the defense to delay this hearing with the media attorney. The media attorney. They're basically saying they've got a witness. The witness can't be here present. They want to be able to have their witness come via Zoom. I don't see where the judge is going to. Oh, and if they can't come via Zoom, then they need to reschedule so they can fly them in. Like, you've had 4 months, defense, 4 months, but it doesn't matter. If the judge refuses to have a Zoom call, which I don't think he will, because he's already set up Zoom for other people to participate, such as the witnesses and the victims' families. They're able to watch these things via Zoom that we're not the public's not a privy to hear these hearings on, you know, certain motions and whatnot. So I think since the judge has already allowed the Zoom meetings and allowed participation by Zoom at other meetings, it's going to be hard for him to deny this, basically stating that he wants the witness there in person. I don't think the witness being there in person, but it is an opportunity to delay this. So, it just seems like the judge is pro delaying this. He doesn't seem to want to adjust or modify his own non-dissemination order. There's also other things that go along with it, but anyways, and here's and then we have the defense also reaching out to the court saying, hey, we want to have this hearing for the cameras, and we want to have this hearing on the motion to see if our expert can attend via Zoom. But we want to shorten the hearing time. So they have a motion to shorten the hearing time. And then they have this whole big package right here, quite a few pages. Once I get it up there, once I get certain, so quite a few pages, as you can see, right? This is nothing that's going to be heard on. This is nothing that's going to have any kind of hearing. This is just a motion asking the judge to take judicial notice. Again, coming from the defense team, which is from that Jay Logsdon. And, he's talking about everything that's been published. He wants the judge to take notice of everything that's been published. And he's like, Caitlin Hockland, capital punishment, family of Bryan Kohberger's victims seek death. B, Madeline Coggins, parallels of evil, Ted Bundy survivor speaks out, links their gruesome attack to Bryan Kohberger's. Like, they don't want anybody saying anything using Bryan. You can't do that. This is America. And any judge that allows this to continue to take place, is not weighing or allowing a fair trial to equal the First Amendment. Because and again, to further state, all of this stuff, everything that's in here, everything that's in this motion to take judicial notice of press coverage, everything was done with the current order. So clearly the order isn't working. If we're going to base everything off the current, all this stuff happened under the current order. They're complaining about the current order not working and how all this misinformation is out there because you're creating the vacuum. You won't allow anybody to get any factual information to report. And then you're complaining that they're reporting misinformation. Yeah, like, what? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And then they were like, well, this is somebody brings up the public trial. This is this is tried in the courts, not of public opinion. Excuse me, I hate to tell you, everything is tried in the court of public opinion. Hello? Casey Anthony, she had a fair trial. Can't we agree with that? Because many people out here, I'm from Florida, still think she's a baby killer. Hate to bring it to you, right? She's not in jail. Obviously, she had a fair trial. So I'm just tired. I'm tired of this war on the press. I'm tired of it. And that's the way I feel. It is a war on the press. And Idaho, I hope, gets it together. The bottom line is when public trials, when we had to go in there in the flesh, we have to remember public trials have been going on for hundreds of years. Okay? It has history. I.e., there at one time had no newspapers, no telephones, no TVs, no internet. Believe it or not. In order for you to go to court, you had, or watch a public trial, you had to be there in person because there was no other way of getting the information. Well, we've advanced over hundreds of years. And guess what? We now have cameras. We now have radios. We now have telephones. We now have Twitter. We now have YouTube. We have ways of getting trials out there to the public a lot easier, a lot quicker. There's no misinformation because you're seeing it just like everybody else. It's bringing transparency and trust from the public to the courts. There are so many good things that are coming from this. I don't understand the pushback. But that's for another argument, a completely another live than what we're doing here. People are offended about my statements that I made related to the Chapin family. And, I apologize. It was stating my position because people had been asking why I'm not covering him. And so I was addressing some issues. And of course, I didn't really care if they clipped it and put it out there because I own what I say. I say what I own. There's, I don't cover my face. I don't act like I didn't say it. I own everything I do. I own it proudly. And I'm allowed to have my opinions. And I also understand the gravity of the situation. And therefore, I'm choosing not to be disrespectful. But by me saying I choose not to be disrespectful and providing you the reasons why, apparently that's disrespectful to some. So I will say that's your problem and not mine. I apologize that you have, are very offended by somebody just addressing a situation. But that's pretty much a lot alike the same because, again, we're not dealing with real adults here. We're dealing with children. Like their children are probably adulting for them. And I stand behind what I said. I stand behind what I said. I understand that this Chapin family have, and yes, I'm doubling down on that. So go ahead and clip. And it comes back to people saying, she didn't have to say this. You know what? I want to say this, and this is a lot about what we're talking about right here with this whole Bryan Kohberger non-dissemination. This is America. I have opinions, and I'm going to be able to address those opinions and speak them. I have a mouth. I can speak. I can speak for myself. And you know what? This is a good lesson for people because I practice this all the time. I tell people all the time, if you don't like what's coming out of somebody's mouth, it's your responsibility to change the channel. It's not your responsibility to change the way that they have their viewpoints. It's not their responsibility. I will never change my viewpoints. I am pretty much what you see is what you get. You know where I come from. I don't mince too much stuff up. You know where I'm at every point because I am so transparent in my opinions, how I feel, if I don't want to cover a case. If somebody out there is offended by that, trust me, that's your problem, not mine. I sleep just fine at night. And guess what? I slept just fine last night. And I will continue to sleep just fine. I feel bad for their family. And like I said, they have had a heavy cost. And I do respect their choice. However, it doesn't mean I don't have disdain for the choice. It doesn't mean I don't understand their choice. It doesn't mean that I think that it doesn't change my opinion of the situation. It's just saying that, hey, this is a family that has earned the right to make the choice. And mind you, these are the same people that attacked Marissa for not wanting to go and sit and watch her mother die and told her how disgusting she was for making that ultimate personal choice, right? Remember that? Same people. Now all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, they have a right to choose. Everybody has a right to choose. This is America. Just because Bullhorn Betty doesn't respect it doesn't mean other people respect it. But let's be honest, there's a lot of people out there that agree. They've wrote me emails. There's a lot of people that don't agree. There's no right or wrong answer with it. I just speak my truth. And a lot of people respect that. Why? Because they're thinking it. They just don't want to say it. Why? Because they don't want to have to deal with attacks, right? I don't care. These people have been attacking me for 2 years. Like, it no longer affects me. They're going, oh my God, I can't believe he did that. It's so offensive. Then don't watch. That's my response to them. Change the channel. I'm never going to watch you again. Okay. Bye. So there are 1,000 other channels out there that cover this case. Now, if you're offended by what I say, go to the other channels. over here. Hey, Jenny. So I'm getting over here and I'm reading this, objection to media's motion to vacate this non-dissemination order. And literally what a hot mess. What a hot mess. And he's just, it's all about the six. They don't care. They don't care about people's, it's all about the six. If this judge listens to it, listens to this and is not balanced, it's gonna go to the Supreme Court. I'm literally not worried about it. Because like this seems like a hissy fight. Like this Jay Logsdon is throwing a temper tantrum on paper. And he's even saying, well, even if it's vague and overly broad, it doesn't really matter. This is what it says. While the ruling and standing issue found that vague, overbroad, unduly restrictive, and not narrowly drawn non-dissemination order would be constitutional. The court then found the order states to include, but is not limited to, attorneys and agents. The court found the memorandum of January 13, 2023 meeting shows the order does not apply to witnesses. All the same, the court held the media's concerns were about the order, not merely contrived. Were not merely contrived, which they're not. And they were like, and armed with this language, the media returned to the court, proclaiming it's unconstitutional. He goes in there, he's like, they just walked in here, and I'm like, well, they got a positive opinion from the Supreme Court. I hate to break the news to you, dude. Okay, defense team, the media had more of a positive opinion from the Supreme Court than your position. I hate to break it. I know it's shocking. It's freaking shocking that literally the Supreme Court has an opinion saying, hey, what you're doing over here is unconstitutional. I just want to let you know. And this Yahoo that's for the defense and saying, so what? So what? They're acting like they could just bring up the First Amendment. Well, all you're talking about is the Sixth. So maybe it's now at least a balanced conversation. They're screaming about the First, you're screaming about the Sixth. Maybe somewhere in the middle, the judge can maybe find that happy balance that the law prescribes when it comes to matters like this, by the way, folks. And so he's going on, and listen to this. I've got lots of notes on this. And this, again, is the objection to the media's motion to vacate the non-dissemination order. They're saying, no, yeah, you need to keep it in here. Let me just read. I wonder if I could just read the first few things in here. I was laughing. When I was reading this, I have to be honest. This is no laughing matter. I mean, I do want to throw that out there. This is no laughing matter. But I was reading this because I even highlighted the Supreme Court agreed with Mr. Kohberger that the media failed to show the absence of adequate, plain, and speedy recovery in the ordinary course of law. The Idaho Supreme Court agreed with the media that it had standing, something Mr. Kohberger never disputed. Okay, so let's stipulate that the media has standing to bring this action of a First Amendment violation from the courts. No dispute. No dispute. But they were accurate. Like the only reason why I got booted from the Supreme Court is because they didn't follow. They catapulted. Like there's some issues. There's some exceptions in the law that allow you to catapult from a lower court right to the Supreme Court, and a lot of that is weighted on urgency. So if you have urgency, then you don't have time to get it through the smaller court, and it is of urgent matter, you could force it into the Supreme Court to have them hear it or address it earlier, but you have to meet an elements test. And part of that elements test is stating whether or not you tried to address it in the lower courts, and if you had time to address it in the lower courts. And here, the Supreme Court said, wait a minute, you catapulted from the lower courts to the Supreme Court. You didn't object. You didn't appeal. You didn't do anything in that lower court that would allow you to get here. And there was plenty of time for you to do it. So this matter is not urgent. So it was more of a procedural issue. It was more of a procedural issue as to why the Supreme Court objected, because they never retained jurisdiction. They had to meet this elements test in order to give the Supreme Court, before the Supreme Court had jurisdiction over the matter. And they never gave the jurisdiction to that Supreme Court. They never followed the necessary steps for the Supreme Court to have that jurisdiction. And that was the reason why it was booted back down or denied. It wasn't because the media doesn't have a good legal argument. Their legal argument is really strong, by the way, when it comes to this. So we're going to go over a few things. So they said, armed with this language, media returned to the court May 1st, seemingly triumphant. Like he's just, this defense attorney is not liking the media. The court's appearing not liking the media. The state not really liking the media. But it doesn't matter about popularity when it comes to the media, because the media, thank God, has this document called the Constitution that backs up its position. So they don't have to be popular by the judge. They don't have to be popular by the state, and they don't have to be popular by the defense. It doesn't really matter whether they hate their guts or not. It doesn't matter, because they have a good, clean document that gives them a path forward, and that is the First Amendment. Now, that First Amendment has to be balanced against the second, or the sixth. Too many S's. The first has to be balanced against the sixth, and with the sixth. One does not supersede the other. One does not supersede the other. One's not superior. One's not inferior. So the balance has to be made. And that's why I was so bold to say, by the end of tomorrow, we're going to have a new non-dissemination order. It's got to be modified. He can't keep it the way it is. I mean, he just can't. No matter how you look at this situation, whether they're going to remove it completely or not, I've never said that. I don't know how the judge is going to rule on the matter. All I said, in my opinion, is that this is going to be modified. I don't know how it'll be modified, but under its current, how it's currently written is in violation of the law. So the judge, and he cued us, he says he was going to read the opinion of the Supreme Court. So I no doubtedly believe he's going to read this, and the Supreme Court opinion will guide him. So I think he's going to make the minimal modifications. I do believe that. I don't think he's going to just say, hey, you're right, this is a public trial. We need to open up to the public, with the exception of a few things. And I don't believe that we're going to get that out of this judge. To be honest with you, I've been surprised in the past before, but you just hearing and watching this, this judge, I don't see that being the case, but who knows? So they go on in here and say, seemingly triumphant, proclaiming that the Supreme Court agreed that unconstitutional orders are unconstitutional, and all that's left is for the court just to follow suit, right? And then it goes on to talk about the Dateline. And you guys know the Dateline episode, I had an opportunity to watch, and I'm like, well, there's a few things in here that I know are absolutely wrong. They're absolutely wrong in there. And I can identify those. But there's several things throughout that Dateline, because I remember watching it and saying, no, that's not true. For a few things that I knew with 100% were not accurate. And so that's what made me always come out with the disclaimer when I was referring to the Dateline episode, if everything is true, if their anonymous sources are accurate. I kept putting those disclaimers and things of that nature up here and spoke about them when I'm talking specifically about Dateline, because they said some things that we didn't realize. And I also indicated, that Ashley Banfield and the Ashley Banfield and Keith, why can't I ever remember his name? But Keith with Dateline, they have two conflicting sources, law enforcement sources close to the investigation. So, and I pointed that out on several things. But here in this document here, they actually specifically reference Dateline NBC and watch the Dateline episode. And it says, using the same playbook the media has chosen throughout this case, the special guest details the investigation wrong despite access to the arrest affidavit. It chooses to treat Mr. Kohberger as already guilty, asking for experts to speculate on how and why he committed the murders without once asking police if they have the right person. I don't like that statement in here, and here's why. Because we know every time any request has gone to the police since Bryan Kohberger's arrest, and I just got another 2 letters yesterday citing the gag order. So even if, how are we supposed to ask the police if they have the right person when you yourself are sitting here writing this, objecting to allowing us to even ask the damn question? This is the stuff that's irritating for me. So I'm sitting here saying, how do you know? How does this guy know whether they've asked the police if they have the right person? How do you know? How do you know I didn't ask them that? And I got a letter from the police department saying we can't discuss it because of the gag order. You can't make this stuff up. I swear to God, you can't make this stuff up. So, and they're saying that basically, did you hear this? I want you to hear this again. I want you to listen to what they are telling the courts. Using the same playbook the media has chosen throughout this case. There is no playbook. This is standard operating procedures. This is what we all do. I mean, it literally a binder of step-by-step on how to be a journalist, right? This is standard operating procedure for the biz. I hate to break the news to you, okay? But the same playbook. And special gets detail investigation, and the special, which is the Dateline special they're referring, gets details of the investigation wrong. Well, again, maybe if the gag order wasn't in place, maybe some of those details would be more accurate. My position here is they're complaining about keeping this non-dissemination order because of all the misinformation coming out. The misinformation coming out is because of the non-dissemination order. I don't know what part of that they don't get. Everything that they are complaining about, every single thing in this document, all these exhibits, all of them, everything here is about how we shouldn't be able to discuss Bryan Kohberger at all. And if we discuss Bryan Kohberger, we should discuss it how they want us to discuss it. No freedom of press whatsoever. We're not allowed to have an opinion, according to the defense. We're not allowed to talk about Bryan Kohberger, according to the defense. This mess has been caused 100% because of this non-dissemination order. If it was never in place, we wouldn't even be here right now. The attorneys would be acting in proper ethical, mannerisms and procedures, because you don't need an order of the court to follow rules that you're required to follow by having that law license. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. And the Supreme Court opinion addressed that. Like you're saying that you needed to mimic the ethics of, this 6.2 of the attorney's rules of ethics and procedure or whatever, right? Well, it's already there. You don't need an order. They're already required to handle themselves in this kind of conduct. Why do you need an order further telling them that they need to handle themselves in this kind of conduct? It's overly broad. It's overly broad. And when you need a memorandum, again, to explain a court order, that's like the definition of overly broad and vague. I'm sorry, it is. So, anyways. But, I went through this this non-dissemination order, and like I said, there's a few things that I highlighted in here, and one was, well, this was done under the current order, and they're listing all these things that media has gotten right, and how horrible the media is, and how we shouldn't be talking about Bryan Kohberger, and we're talking about every single one of his mannerisms and everything like that. It's not going to stop that from happening. It's not going to stop that from happening. All it's going to do is make people like me go and find some place to stay up there for several months, so we don't lose information on this case. That's all it's doing. It's just pushing us into your community instead of allowing some distance and allowing people to heal. You're pushing the media into your community, and then you're going to be complaining that the community is overloaded with media. Well, you're doing it to yourself. I mean, I hate to break the news to you. You're doing it to yourself, because don't think I won't go there to get the information. I've already made 2 trips. I'm planning on living there during the trial. Like, if I need to go up there earlier, I got a car. You know what? Listen to this. Listen to this. This is what I did. I got a little blow up thing. Back seat. Like you put it in the back seat. It's got a stand. You blow it up, and it makes like a bed from the front seat to the back seat. It's pretty freaking cool. And I got these little shades that go up around the windows. Like, if all else fails, I'll sleep in the car. I'll van life it, man. I'll van life it. But don't think I won't be there. Well, official Nikki, it's supposed to be in October. There's no way they're going to be ready for trial in October. I'm sorry. I had to clear all these Vine messages out. It was just a plethora of them, like literally 54 or 60 of them that I was trying to clear out. And just as more were coming in, and I'm telling you, I don't think it's going to be ready for October. There's too many issues. They're too far away. I mean, we're already in June, 4 months. There is no way to prepare this trial in 4 months as is. There is absolutely no way. There's no way. I mean, they've got tens of thousands of documents that need to be indexed. They need to be cataloged. There's no way. There's no way. It needs to be cross-referenced. There's no way. There's no way. And they're still having to do motions and argue. There's no way. There's no way. To the media's contention that is no longer good law, the argument seems overstated. Certainly these days, presuming prejudice based on media coverage are gone. But to understand grounds for non-dissemination orders, such as one before the court, must follow the cases. To do so, it helps for one honestly helps if one honestly reads them. So they're talking about Nebraska versus Stewart. It was about non-dissemination order at all like the one in this matter. It was about an order enjoining the press. The court actually noted the attractiveness of the non-dissemination order for counsel and the police. Oddly, the media's briefing failed to mention either the non-dissemination order in Stewart is nothing like the case at bar, or the fact Stewart explicitly endorses orders just like this one. Media brief at 11 to 13. This is particularly where the media actually quotes language from the paragraph just above the Stewart, where Stewart says. So they're basically saying that certain case law, the amended non-dissemination order is necessary to protect the parties' rights to a fair trial. That's all they care about, is the rights to a fair trial, and I get it. But there is a true First Amendment freedom of press issue here and at large that's not being addressed by the defense or the state, and now has to be addressed by this judge. We're definitely hoping that the judge rules it. I want it to be fair. That's really what the law prescribes. I just want fairness. Nobody's, I don't think, especially for me, I I want Bryan to have a fair trial. I want him to have the pit bull for the defense counsel. I want him to have that because I want him to have less reasons to appeal once he's convicted. And the only way you can ensure that is to make sure he has everything he needs and his attorneys have everything they need to properly represent him. I like him having the pit bull. I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to him having a fair trial. What I am saying is that there are less restrictive means to ensure that he has a fair trial. Every law in Idaho, including the U.S. Supreme Court, require you using the less restrictive means first. And nobody is trying the less restrictive means first. And then they're complaining about the results they're getting from an overly broad, unduly burdensome, and vague order. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You just can't. If this new non-dissemination order is proper, then nobody's going to be happy, right? Everybody has to give some, right? It's not going to be perfect. It's going to be somebody's going to be happy at this and upset about this. That's what a good order is all about. It's bringing that balance. It's having that balance. And that's what we're seeking from our judge is the balance of the freedom of press as well as Bryan's right to a fair trial. This is why I know this is not you or whoever. First of all, Truth and Transparency knows how to properly use proper names. So I really don't like people coming into my chat impersonating people, especially somebody that is respectful and respectable on these streets, such as Truth and Transparency. So if he's innocent, that's what the court is for. I'm not a court, okay? And this is what I tell everybody. I'm not a court, okay? This is not where you're going to have a fair trial. I'm the court of public opinion. We're the most unfair trial place in the world, right? And along with everybody else's channel. So we look at this. I'm saying if they can prove 85% of what's in the Brett Payne affidavit, if they can prove 85% of that, Bryan's done. He's guilty. He's guilty. 85%. Not even the whole freaking Brett Payne affidavit needs to be take the sheath away. Doesn't change the facts of the case for me at all. Doesn't change the facts of the case. It is a sprinkle on top of a heaping mountain of whipped cream. Okay. Dylan Mortenson's their testimony. If it was removed, it doesn't change the facts of the case. He would still be convictable. He would still be convictable. So no, pending new information, I'm open to hearing new information. But if we're talking about the information that we have right now, he's guilty. He's guilty. And what if he's innocent? If he's innocent, that's probably a talking point for you, which again, not Truth and Transparency. So I don't know what else I could possibly say to you. I'm pretty open and transparent myself about my position on this, whether you like it or not. But I don't like people impersonating people. And we know you're impersonating this person. And you're coming in here and you're probably one of those people that think they're the smartest person in the room. One of those narcissistic people. Give me just a second. My question is they've been writing in here for some time, and I don't understand why their name is not coming up. 756. There it is. All right, let's see. Yeah. That's what I thought. Oh, Lord. It's just a troll. It's just a troll. So Truth and Transparency, this is my problem. I don't understand why you got to come in here with a impersonated name. Truth and Transparency is somebody that's highly respected across the streets of YouTube. So I'm going to hope and ask that you're more than welcome to come in here, and you're more than welcome to. You seemed like you've been ultra respectful so far, even questioning whether I think he's innocent. I mean, you haven't been disrespectful whatsoever, but I would really prefer that you respect truth and transparency, and don't impersonate truth and transparency. So I hope that when you come back in here, you respect the channel and change the name. But I mean, I get it. There are some people that believe that Bryan Kohberger truly is guilty, and there's some people that believe he's not guilty. I'm one of those people that believe he's absolutely 100% guilty. You know, I am open to new information. I'm open. I mean, you know, I'm one of those people that believes in the death penalty, and so therefore I want to make sure that the person that is in behind bars and has an opportunity to seek that is the right person. I would never, ever, ever want anybody to lose their life and be innocent. You know, that's just how I want the right person behind bars. So I'm utilizing my noggin. You know, it's not that I'm not utilizing my noggin. I'm absolutely utilizing my noggin. I just want him to have a fair trial, but I don't want it to be at the expense of the public, or the public's constitutional rights, or the media's constitutional rights. You know, I don't want Bryan has already taken so much. I don't want him having this as well. I really don't. I don't. So anyways, guys, there's a lot of paperwork going on. Let me go through and see what else we got in here. So I really just don't. And again, I just wanted to throw it out that all this stuff that they're complaining about has happened under the current non-dissemination order. So if they're complaining that it's not working, then maybe the judge should be taking notice of that as well. It's not working. It's not working. Actually, as a matter of fact, it's doing the opposite of not working. It's allowing these attorneys to put all this misinformation from all these media sources in their pleadings, because they're blocking us from getting legit factual information. You can't bitch about us not having factual information and block us from having factual information all the same. You can't do it. It's one or the other. Either poop or get off the pot. Right? People that offend easily do not. We need to have a disclaimer on this channel. Only the strong survive. Only the strong survive. The state's response to the motion to appeal and clarify, as Mr. Gray did not file, they're basically saying he did not file a supplemental briefing and therefore shouldn't be, and I don't think he needed to file a supplemental briefing, but it's just an argument that they have. And this is a response to the Associated Press to intervene in the motion to vacate, again, coming from that Yahoo logs in. No, this one actually came from the prosecuting attorney. This is the prosecuting attorney. Hold on here, let me read this. I like this. So I want to read this to you. And this is from the response to Associate, but it doesn't say if it's state's response, if it's I don't know whose response this is, but it looks like it's coming from the state, because Bradley Rudley, Chief Civil Deputy Prosecuting Attorney. Okay, so this is the state. And right here, it has like this balancing. So it says balancing the First and Sixth Amendment issue interests in this case, and the amended non-dissemination order is not vague, overbroad, or unduly restricted, as it limits only the speech of the prosecuting attorneys, defense attorneys, and any attorneys representing a witness, victim's family, as well as the parties to the above action, including but not limited to investigators, law enforcement personnel, and agents for the prosecuting attorneys and defense attorneys. These parties have special insight and information on the case, and limiting their speech only to those documents which are part of the official record. So these people are you know, then we need to be appealing. We need to be appealing. When we get a denial, we need to be appealing. We need to start getting some legal stuff going to the state, because if they're saying that only these people, and every time I turn around, I'm getting letters from Moscow Police Department saying that because of this gag order, I can't get this document. Well, then I need to start appealing that and start suing Moscow. Are you guys wanting like 1,000 lawsuits for documents? Like, what gives here? This is insane to me. This is insane. Where was I? Okay, let's see. It says limiting their speech only to the documents which are of the public record of the case provides a fair balance of the First and the Sixth Amendment right. Even strict scrutiny applies. The order addresses serious imminent threats that unrestricted extrajudicial statements pose in a case surrounded by intense publicity is narrowly drawn to trial participants, attorneys in the case. No, it's not. You have a laundry list of people that can't freaking... A victim's family has hired an attorney, and the attorney can't even speak on their behalf. What? Are you flipping kidding me? You get an attorney to make sure you don't say anything inappropriate in the that can get you in legal jeopardy. That's why you hire an attorney to represent you and to make your statements proper and to speak on your behalf. And the court is basically telling the Gonzalez, you can go out and speak to the cameras, but your attorney can't. So you're preventing the Gonzalez from properly being protected in an effort to protect Bryan Kohberger's possible infringement of a fair trial. Like, you can move the venue, right? You can shuttle jurors in. There are a lot of remedies at the court's disposal to ensure Bryan Kohberger has a fair trial, to ensure that Bryan Kohberger has a fair trial. The order in this case is lined with a court's decision in Shepard and is drawn as required by the U.S. Supreme Court decision, Nebraska Press Association. The order is not vague. Listen, I hate to burst their bubble, but the published opinion of the Supreme Court does not mimic either the state or the defense in these arguments. We're not saying that the Sixth Amendment isn't important. We're not saying that. We're saying that the First Amendment is equally important. Guys, we have a lot of stuff to go over. I'm just not going to have time to go over it today. So, and then don't forget tomorrow at 10, I will be on Steffer's channel, Steffer's YouTube channel. Be Betty fan just posted. If you guys would like to go up and sub up for her, that would be awesome. I've got a lot of work going on here behind the scenes as I am gearing up for the new week, and I'm getting excited. So how is everything going to go? So tomorrow I will do the coffee club. We're getting a little late on the coffee club. It starts at 6:30, but even today I didn't even really get started until almost 7. I had a lot of issues that arose this morning that I ended up. Anyways, long story short, I couldn't get us started at 6:30, so we got started a little bit before 7, and so tomorrow I'm going to try to be kicking off at 6:30, our normal time, 6:30 to 8:30. That's our position here. That's what we've had for the last 2 years, and so we're going to get back to the 6:30 timeline and time frame. So tomorrow I'll be here from 6:30 to 8:30, and then I'll be over on Steffer's at 10. So it gives everybody some time to wind down and whatnot. Saturday I will not be live. This is going to be the last weekend that we're not live. I've got an event Saturday, and then we're going to have church Sunday. And so I don't know if I'll even go live on Sunday. But starting on Monday, we're going to be on Coffee Club every day of the week, back to our normal, regular schedule. But it's not going to be this weekend. It will be starting as of next weekend. So guys, go out and make it a great day. We're sliding into the weekend. Thursday is a beautiful day. I can see the sun is out. It is shining. There's a lot to be done today. So go out and make your day the absolute best it can be. Please, let's say a prayer for the victims in the Idaho 4 and all the victims across this country. I've got some really great news today. You guys know I was in Winona, Minnesota, covering Maddie Kingsbury case. Maddie Kingsbury, she was a 26-year-old that disappeared. She had 2 beautiful kids. She was getting ready to leave. Her boyfriend, Adam Fravel, he took off in her blue minivan and was gone from 10:30 to 1:30 covering errands. And we went out there, and the place that he was, there was nothing around. I didn't understand what errands he could possibly have been running or going on. It was very unclear. I maintained the fact that when they get their forensic information in, their forensic evidence in, that they will be making an arrest. And when they make that arrest, it will be of Adam Fravel. I do want to give you guys the great news and let you know that today, Adam Fravel is officially behind bars for the death of Maddie Kingsbury. To my knowledge, she has yet to be found. It's very sad, but he is finally behind bars where he belongs. And we will be giving more of an update tomorrow morning as information becomes available. So guys, have a great day. God bless each and every one of you. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, you all be safe and kind to one another. God bless you.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to...
I forgot. Don't go nowhere. Sorry. I did it yesterday too. I don't want to do it again today. I forgot to talk about our channel sponsors. Our channel sponsors on each of these segments are ultra important to the Bullhorn Betty channel. So pleasing supporter of the Bullhorn Betty channel gifted 5 memberships this morning. Jennifer with her unicorn, Steffers, $5. Thank you. God bless you for that. Stop in to say hello and hit the like button. Also, thank you for the interview tomorrow. Can't wait. Love Coffee Beans and the Coffee Club. God bless you. Lady 7 Up is celebrating her 5 months with the Bullhorn Betty Club. I love this family. Keep up the good work, Betty. And a $10 super chat. Thank you so much. God bless each and every one of you. You guys are an amazing part of this family. We wouldn't be able to do half the stuff without each and every one of you supporting this channel and loving the work that we do. We will be out in Idaho. Believe me, we're not going to miss a thing. We're not going to miss a thing. Others can sit home. We're not going to. We're going to be out there. We're going to be doing the work. We're going to be getting the information back here to each and every one of you when the time is right. God bless you. Have a great day.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.